Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brad with Despite Fitness, and just trying to vary up some of the shooting a little bit, and had the pleasure of having a good buddy of mine. This is Zach. He had some time off work, so he came in town to visit with me and the family for a little bit. So I figured I'd just shoot some content, and we'll just see what happens, and we'll form it in post. Yeah. So we had a chance to go to the gym today and do a little bit of training, and so both of us have been lifting for a long time. Different goals, obviously. Of me doing more powerlifting, you've done just more kind of just general fitness type stuff.
Yeah. I've gone through the phases of doing everything from trying to do bodybuilding or just more aesthetics or just general fitness. Obviously, being in the military, or training up for different selections or whatever, just trying to get stronger.
Yeah.
Did CrossFit for a little bit.
Then I had an opportunity to kind of help him with his bench, kind of going through, talking about techniques and different attributes. One of the conversations that kind of came up a lot today was just generally about programming. And so we talked about kind of how you're programmed, we talked about how I'm programmed. Of course, we have different goals, things that we're trying to accomplish, but programming is kind of an important thing. So, programming is important in the effect of getting you kind of somewhere where you want to be. But one of the secrets is just consistency. It really doesn't matter kind of what you do, how you do it, to a large extent. Especially as a novice lifter, females tend to recover a little bit better than males. So if you're more of a novice lifter, the kind of one of the tricks is to not get too wrapped around the axle about the programming per se, but rather just getting in there and being consistent about the training. And so we talked a little bit about that with your kind of how you programmed out, because you're looking at some of the Marco Pateau stuff and kind of following that. So talk about how what your programming is and what you do.
Well, I think originally a long time ago, I was probably 19. Somebody gave me, I started lifting weights or whatever when I first came on. Before that, I never lifted any weights, but somebody gave me the West Side, and I didn't really know what it was. I didn't know it had anything to do with powerlifting. I just knew that it was the West Side for the skinny bastard. All I knew is some big guy said hey, you should look at this. It might help you get stronger, bigger. I was like, okay, well, he's big. He must know what he's talking about. And he was strong too. He was, squat and lift a lot. So that was kind of my first introduction to that. And then I just kind of bounced around all over the place. Trying different things. But one of the big problems I feel like I've had is kind of you're talking about consistency. I didn't know, and I think a lot of people make this mistake probably. You jump from one thing to the next, say focus, because maybe your goals change, because my goals have changed a lot depending on what part of my life I was in. I wasn't always, where you've kind of for a while, even though you've been in and out of powerlifting, your goals were always geared towards that. Move weight, move heavy weight. Sometimes mine change. Maybe I want to look a little more aesthetically pleasing, so I'd lose weight, which isn't kind of counterproductive sometimes if you're trying to get stronger. Or maybe I need to be able to, run 10 miles or do ruck march really fast, or whatever the case was. So my goals changed so much that I think over the years I kind of got confused on what exactly I wanted to focus on. And how to do it, because there's so much stuff out there that it becomes overwhelming. I feel because I'm I want to do that, but I also want to do this, and which one's the best? How do I know? And kind of you're saying, some of it doesn't matter especially in your novice or intermediate or whatever, because you're not at the point where you need to specialize. You just need to like be consistent, track what you're doing, and progress forward. So, and whatever it's bodybuilding or powerlifting or
Yeah.
whatever strength sport or whatever it is.
So, like, one of the things that you mentioned that I think is kind of important for, especially for young lifters, new lifters, is understanding your goals, right? And so, like, your goals might change, and that'll be what it is. Most people kind of go through that sway in life where their goals tend to shift as they go through life. So they don't spend the majority of time, the majority of their effort, singularly tracking one goal. They do something for a little while, then transition, then do something for a little while, then transition. If you have the foresight to know that you want to be a strong person, or you want to train, say in powerlifting, for example, and you know that that's the path that you want to take, consistency is really the key. And staying true to the cause. The programming is, for a large part of your career, the programming will be inconsequential, because you're in there, you're moving weight, you're growing, you're getting stronger, and as the newer intermediate or the newer novice intermediate lifter, you can spend more time and energy doing a variety of things and still have good return on your investment of time. It's only at the very top level guys, the best in the world, the best in the country, that have to be so concerned about the specificity and being kind of pinpoint on what they spend their time and effort on, because those guys will really only truly benefit from having that specificity because they are so highly trained already. Whereas, for yourself, as your goals have kind of shifted as you've gone through, that's probably the same arc for most people. You know what I mean? Like, I would say it's uncommon for somebody to be like, I'm going to be a powerlifter. Like, at age 13, I'm going to be a powerlifter. And from age 13 until the day they die, they chase that goal. From a gains perspective, that's probably the most advantageous piece that you could have, is like having one singular goal and track that for the duration of your life. But that's not where most people are at. So like you end up the same thing with dieting, same thing with whatever, is you get kind of the fad, whatever the training fad is, whatever the diet fad is. The big thing is more or less you can kind of change things a lot, but having that consistency and kind of maintaining the training throughout the duration is really going to be what gives you the best effect.
And I know as like a novice or intermediate beginner that like you said, fads, like automatically we're jumping into like West Side or like, because you see these big dudes doing those things, but I just think sometimes, and this is where we were talking about volume last night or whatever, about you see big guys doing certain things and you think, well, hell, that really strong guy's doing it, it would probably work for me, which isn't always the case, because like you said, that's an elite lifter. You're not an elite lifter, so. And that goes back, when I was talking about volume yesterday, that your volume for, like, okay, let's say you're 70% for your deadlift, or what did we say? What was it earlier?
You were talking about 65%?
Yeah. So whatever it is, I mean, it's up there.
Yeah.
It's a huge weight. But that might, for somebody else, that might be, not very, like, if somebody's got a 500-pound deadlift and they're only doing 60% of their one rep max. And I mean, that's a pretty good deadlift, but like you see what I'm saying, the weight's still down there. It's at like 315. I think that's 60% would be like 312 actually. I just haven't, I checked it earlier. But anyways, it's 312 or whatever, so I could probably do a little more volume and get away with it as, so whereas.
Yeah, so like your 60% at 312 is different than mine at like 490 or whatever that ends up being, 495 or close to. So the 495, because it's a heavier weight, and Chad Wesley Smith does a really good job of talking about this. So this is, as far as where I'm coming from, that's a lot of the stuff that I've looked at and reviewed. But the 495, regardless, is going to be more taxing. Sure, it's 60%,
But it's not the same.
but it's really not the same. And so, really what it comes down to is just finding something and sticking to it. So, or even as a fairly advanced lifter, right now I'm ranked, as of the last time that I checked the powerlifting watch, I was ranked 25th in the country for 308 men's open raw. And that's good. But even at that ranking, I can afford to have some flex and some play and tweak with my programming. Like, I don't have to be on, it doesn't have to be Juggernaut, it doesn't have to be Westside, it doesn't have to be Cube. I can kind of do whatever. And to some extent, I'm going to see growth. Where I'm at, I think in my flight path, I'm not a super elite lifter, but I'm probably more advanced than some. And so, in terms of that, I need to start having more specificity in my training than maybe just a brand new lifter. And so the brand new lifters can really enjoy quite a lot of play and freedom in what they do. And it's actually probably good from a neural pathway perspective to have a lot of different experience, because once you learn how to move, having that kinesthetic knowledge, having that kinesthetic awareness about where your body is in space and knowing how to control yourself, that's really important, and it parlays well into developing long-term strength. So having that physical awareness is pretty important. So I think there's less of a premium on what program you're on from an early training perspective than when you're a little bit more advanced. All right, guys, that's video. I know it's a little bit of a different format. Once things settle down after the holiday season and I clear some space out in the garage, I'll get back to my normal format. The purpose of the video today was just kind of capturing a buddy of mine that came into town to visit, and just some conversations that we had over that period of time. We talked a lot about training and just kind of sharing information back and forth and trying to help him along his way. And the key or the crux of what we were talking about was there's no secret, there's no magic program, there's no one way to do things. If you just generally want to get stronger, there's a lot of things that you can do. You can follow various programs, change things up. You don't have to have the foresight from the age 13 up to whatever point, knowing that you're going to be a powerlifter or whatever. Your goals in life are likely to change. And so it's okay to change your program here and there. Where you can, you want to have as much consistency as possible. So if you do have goals in mind, stick to those goals and just kind of hang tight. Train for a period of time until you start hitting some walls or some plateaus, and then you change things up a little bit and continue to train. Younger and novice lifters will experience quite a lot of growth that way, and you can train that way for many years, a decade or more even, before you really need to start worrying about specializing. And again, that really depends on your own personal goals. So that's kind of what we were talking about. If any of it was unclear, because we were having a few drinks, or convoluted, or you have any questions, leave them below. I'd love to get back to you guys, answer any questions that I can. Obviously, I'm not an expert. I'm not a scientist or a doctor or anything like that. But I do read a lot. I have been training for a long time, so I try to stay fairly well abreast of information that's out there. So I might be able to help you. I do want to thank Paradox Truth, who recently jumped onto the channel and you left me a couple messages, and I really appreciate the support. I really appreciate the follow and the subscribe. It means a lot that people kind of jump in and follow on this journey. I'm going to continue to post videos going forward. The next meet that I have is going to be March 25th at the Bar in Milton, Florida. I'm looking to try to take down a couple of state records and get myself qualified for USPA Nationals. So, I appreciate you guys kind of following me on that journey and when watching what I do, and I appreciate any questions and stuff that you guys have. If you like the video, hit that like button. I appreciate you guys, sharing it, and even more, I appreciate you guys subscribing. It means a lot to me. That's about all I have for the day. I'll try to get myself caught up from videos that I've already shot, or footage that I've already shot. So I'm going to post up a couple of videos here, probably in fairly quick succession. So look for more content to come. And I appreciate it, guys. Thanks very much. Remember, no matter what you have going on, train despite.